the only thing I have a DrinkWorks home bar by Keurig campaign, and that's the only thing that went through. And I'm like, I was sitting there being like, this cannot fall out. I was like, this is the one thing, this is the one campaign that is fucking perfect for this. This needs to stay, and thankfully it
Yeah, I
has.
mean, as Governor Newsom has said, alcohol and weed is essential. This is Dying on a Hill, the business podcast.
Yes, it is.
Right, man. This is the Dying on a Hill, the business podcast about history's worst marketing decisions. With me today is my good friend and also boy dad, David Coe. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, as great as I can
Now
be.
you have so many titles, you have so many things that you earn money from. I didn't want to behold you to just one. So you are an influencer, a photographer, an actor. Any ones I'm missing? Small business owner.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Just general digital content creator and all around fool.
You're a guy working hard in LA.
Yeah, which means I don't have one job. I
Yeah,
have 8.
that's the funny stereotype of the Angelino is that we're all going to coffee shops complaining that we're not getting our shot, when in reality none of us have ever been to a coffee shop in the last like 2 years because we're too busy to actually sit in one place for any period of time.
I think the only people, I mean, when I did go to coffee shops, the only people you see like writing their screenplay in coffee shops are people that just moved to LA.
Yeah, because
those are not Angelinos.
No, those, I mean, yeah, that was when I would write in cafes. Was when I first moved to Los Angeles. I haven't written in a cafe in a long time, unless I'm, the funny thing is, like, unless I'm getting sick of my house, I will usually not leave it to go do this kind of like other work besides like, work. But as long as we're all locked in our house, we can't even really do that.
Yeah, I'm fortunately like such a homebody, and like who cares? I could do nothing. Like I could not. I don't sweat. Like I don't leave the house. I don't leave the house for 2 days, 3 days at a time. Sometimes anyway. So I'm good with this. I just gotta, keep the wife from going stir crazy.
Yeah, ditto. I mean, I can create enough busy things inside of like last year I made a miniature house. Like I bought a bunch of foam core board, and then I like basically just made a tiny house. Like I did it for fun. I didn't have any
A home within a home.
Yeah, a little tiny home. I'll send you a picture later. It was great.
Charlie, I'm so glad. I'm so excited for you to become a father.
You're like,
because I'm so.
You have way too much time on your hands.
Okay, because I. Not only that, but I know that once you have a kid, that you are going to channel your harebrained, like like you're gonna channel like building a house within a house towards like doing something like that for your child, and it's going to be so awesome and ridiculous.
Yeah,
at the
like
same time.
my kid's gonna know how to do a kickflip by the time they're 3, and people are gonna be like, "Are you planning on them being a professional skateboarder?" And it's like, no. I just got bored and I told him to follow me outside. But that's not happening for a while.
At four,
because my child's not born,
yeah, well,
and we're all stuck inside. Yay!
Hey, at least your child's not being born right now.
That would be super lame. Yeah, there's enough space in between when they're coming and right now that hopefully some things will blow over, and whatever the new normal will be will have been there for a few months. So we'll be, really cooking with gas by the time that we meet good old Roy.
Yes, I'm gonna call him Wal.
Do it. Yeah, call him whatever you want. He's not going to care.
I'm going to pretend I mean, he's going to be born in Vermont. He's essentially French Canadian.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's going to be the most crunchy liberal thing anyone has ever seen, because he's gonna have me and my wife as parents. He's gonna be raised in California but born in Vermont. It's gonna be this guy.
And you can't get more
Oh, he
granola
is
than
gonna
that.
have dreadlocks in well into his 20s, and he is going to live in a
I
van.
am going to be really disappointed if that child does not have Marianne's hair.
Ditto. But anyways, today we're kicking off a new series in this whole Dying on a Hill podcast feed thing called Storytime. Because there's no shortage of bad marketing plans to take shits on, but there are even more stories of just these things kind of happening and interesting stuff, coming to fruition as a result. So even though it doesn't fit the large scale form of the main episode series, we're going to go with it. So in story time, we're going to do
Yeah.
we're going to do some deep dives, but into people rather than products or campaigns. And for this episode, we're going to kick off story time with something I'm calling the Batman of Black Friday. Hey, Dave. Do you
Yeah.
remember Black Friday?
Yes, I Black Friday is one of the things that I am morally opposed to in my life. So I'm so excited to talk about
As
it.
a man, you don't have to say anything specific. But do you ever have to do content for Black Friday?
Yes, but none that requires us to actually go to a store around Black
Oh, thank
Friday.
God.
So I'm totally good to like say like, hey, there'll be this type of sale, but I'm not like that you can pay. Yes, you can pay me to go to the stores on Black Friday. I absolutely am a whore just like everyone else. But when it comes to that, I'm a high priced whore. No brand is going to pay me enough to go to a store on Black Friday.
Oh. so whereas
actually, can I rephrase that? Brands, please try to pay me enough to go to a store on Black Friday, because that would like make rent for half the year.
Like it's more of an exercise in to see what your price is rather than like what you can say, like what is the lowest amount of money someone can give you to endure what is basically the running of the bulls, but of just a lot of fucking mouth breathers.
I mean, a real question. I think like we're starting like with like the most bare amount of like content posting, like $8,000.
Okay, you know what? That's
And I'm being
pretty
nice.
reasonable. I
I'm not
feel
like
like that's pretty reasonable for a black. Does that include a Cyber Monday? Is it a package?
no. That is like no. That is like me showing up and giving you like one post and an Instagram story or two about the craziness, and then I don't plan on spending more than 30 minutes inside any sort of retail store on Black Friday.
You know what? I respect that. you gotta have your boundaries, or else they're always gonna want more.
My favorite place to negotiate with a brand is when I don't want to do something, because then I just be like, I don't want to do this. Just name an exuberant.
Uh-huh.
Is that a word? I'm not saying that right. A crazy high price, and then hope they call my bluff.
Have they ever?
We had, like last year we had someone who wanted like some stupid content in perpetuity. And I just like out of like principle, I hate giving anyone any sort of rights in perpetuity for obvious reasons. But we didn't want to do it. We knew that they were already locked in for like they had already been locked in for some of the posting. We were just negotiating the usage. And so we're like, just how much do we want for this? Okay, let's increase that by 50%. And then they paid it. We were like, yeah, nice little chunk.
You're only worth the amount of money you're willing to ask someone for. Unfortunately, in the freelance world.
That is That is a hard truth. And man, if you have never tried to pin down what your work is, if like by yourself, it can be
Yeah,
challenging.
because then, well, there's that the thing that happens, at least in my world, where the less you charge, it for some reason, the more they actually want. Like sometimes I'll do
Hmm.
this thing where I'll
Well,
be
and they
like, okay, I'm gonna give you a sweetheart deal. I like you. You're a cool dude. You are a really easy client to have. So going forward, I can see your numbers. I know your books. You're not really making money, and it's probably more because of seasonality, really, than anything we're doing. So let me just kind of like kick off 500 bucks a month. We'll keep my revenue fee or whatever, and like we'll just call that even, whatever. And then it's usually when that happens that the
and,
relationship just gets worse and worse and worse. And it's usually like when you're actually trying to
and
do them a
then
solid.
they start twisting it further, and you're like, "Whoa, no, you're already getting the friends and family. It'll get no lower than
Yeah.
this."
Like I literally would not charge my mom less than what I'm charging you. But anyways,
Your mom should get into social media
oh
marketing.
god, would not do well.
That's not true. So what about Black
Well, the
Friday?
year.
What can I
Well,
rant
nothing
about?
yet. I'm just going to read you a thing, and then you're going to react to it. This is what my guests love. There is no
Fantastic.
research or anything for them to do. It's just me talking at them, and then they just get to.
I have literally kicked my feet up on my desk.
Hell yeah, let's get into it. So the year was 2011. I was still in college. Most people were still reeling from the last financial crisis. My original script had the financial crisis, but I had to put the last one in now.
Isn't
Yeah.
that fun?
And the beginning of the holiday season was upon us, which is Black Friday. Now, Black Friday, for all of you who don't know, is the day after Thanksgiving in which people who claim to love their family willfully give up a day of rest, relaxation, and reflection to stand in lines for hours on end for deals on garbage they don't need. You know, Black Friday. It's the biggest shopping day of the year,
Yep.
and Americans used to love it before the end times that we find ourselves in currently. Although it may be back, there's enough time. There won't be a cure for COVID-19, but
Can
there
we
will be
stop just for a
sales.
second? There.
Yeah, what's
Can we stop for a second? I feel like the second wave of COVID is going to hit on Black Friday this year.
so I had this script written up for Black Friday 2019, and then I just missed the timeliness of it. And that's why I was like, oh, I don't have a script. And then I texted you immediately after just being like, yes, I do. Because of kind of what happens in this story, it actually does perfectly fit the current situation. But we'll get into that in a second. Here's some background, though. Just to show you how big Black Friday
Word.
is in America, in 2010, there was $530 billion in revenue on Black Friday, with an average of $720 spent per customer, which is an absurd amount of money. The fact that all those people
That's
waiting in
crazy.
line and on their average is spending what is effectively, a month's rent for the country, or their mortgage payment, is fucking insane. And these numbers are from the National Retail Federation. And other than a dip in 2008, again, the last recession, this was basically just increasing year over year. So the 530 billion was the biggest it had been, and people were expecting 2011 to be even bigger. So seeing this momentum, the mega seller Walmart decided that it was going to be the vanguard of nonsense and delivered its Black Friday ads sooner by 11 days. And they even offered to open up their store at 8 p.m. the night before. Which the whole point of Black Friday is that they're trying to eventize what is basically the holiday season. They're trying to make it so that it starts off with a bang and kind of keeps this good momentum. Except now, what I saw in 2019 is that a lot of people are now accustomed to Black Friday. So they actually wait until that weekend to do any buying, and then they don't buy for the rest really of December, and then they'll buy like a week before Christmas. So what was supposed to be something that kind of jump started the holiday season actually just turned into a brand new holiday, kind of cannibalized the holiday season. And then there's the last minute shoppers. So, you know, great ideas that we just keep
This
going with.
this is such an American story.
And one of the tactics they use, you know, limited units. Like we've all seen the thing of like, get this Xbox or get this PlayStation for $100. The truth is, the store will only have 1 or 2 units on sale. They'll do the same thing for TVs and all that shit. They'll have giant grab bag bins of discount DVDs that were actually probably they're charging $2 or $3 more than what they're normally priced, but because this is a quote unquote sales event, the people who go into these stores are kind of conditioned to just assume that everything is on sale. One of my favorite Reddit images is like when people go into these Black Friday sale like stores and they'll lift up the sale tag to reveal that the normal price is actually less than whatever the sale is.
Yeah.
And like the doorbuster sales, all that shit.
Capitalism.
It's really disgusting. And as a marketer, I'm not a big fan of it. I feel like it's real try hard bullshit. Like I'm of the mindset that like your shit should sell just as well Monday through Friday as it does Saturday through Sunday. And if you need to eventize the weekend in order to have your company stay afloat, you're fucking doing something wrong. And the sad truth is that like America isn't really set up. The economy of America is not set up to actually encourage this good behavior of just having a well-run company that obviously has enough revenue to stay afloat when there's a giant virus that forces you to, you know, lose a bunch of clients and everything. The reason I'm in Vermont right now, by the way,
I'm nodding aggressively.
The reason I'm in Vermont right now is actually because a fucking offer letter got rescinded and I had to get the fuck out of Dodge before rent was due. So, you know, fun things. So there's no lack of salt in me delivering this, and I apologize for that.
We're laughing so we don't cry.
So you've never gone to a Black Friday then? You've never woken up on that day after Thanksgiving, looked at your wife and your beautiful child, and then thought, bye.
I don't understand people who do. I'm also very fortunate. A quick sidebar. So for about a decade, like through basically most of my 20s, my wife and I ran a beauty pageant consulting business. I guess you can add that. We don't do it anymore, but our biggest pageant of the year would always fall over Thanksgiving weekend. So through the mercy of Yahweh, I would always be working on Black Friday morning. It was one of our busiest days. And so for 10 years, I couldn't do Black Friday, and just praise be for that it's not in a habit. It's not something that like I do. I mean, I don't know how Ravenna feels about Black Friday. I think she's more of a Cyber Monday kind of girl, so I don't think we'd be doing it anyway. But I physically, for a decade, could not do it, and that's just the best thing ever.
Did you ever have to like go to a Joann Fabric and buy like a bag of bedazzle stuff, and there was just lines out the door of people trying to get like frames?
Oh hell no! Shit, man. We better prepare than that. I'm not buying rhinestones the day before a pageant. That shit's done months ahead of time.
Good. Well, there you go. If you want a well prepared beauty pageant manager, David Coe's your guy. So,
I mean, we're not accepting clients, but you can try.
Like we said before, just throw an egregious number and see if Dave says no.
Yep, that's what we do. That's honestly for the last 2 years last couple years we ran our business. That was our motto. Is we're not currently accepting new clients. It was the best way to get new clients.
Hot tip. So,
right? We're talking about marketing.
That's the thing. It's like being the hot girl at the bar. It's just look uninterested and someone will try.
It's the same when you underbid for yourself. People are like, oh, yep, yep.
So, anyways, enter Elizabeth Macias, a mother of two in Porter Ranch, California. She had her two children in tow, and she decided to take part in the Thanksgiving night sale at Wal Mart to go buy an Xbox for one of her kids. And that turned out to be a bad idea. So, here's a quote from
Yeah,
no,
don't do it. Don't
here's
do
a quote
it.
from Alejandro Seminario via the LA Times. People started screaming, pulling, and pushing each other, and then the whole area filled with pepper spray, the Silmar resident said.
Oh, jeez.
I guess what triggered it was people started pulling on the plastic of pallets and then shoving and bombarding the display of games. It started with people pushing and screaming because they were getting shoved onto the boxes. So being
Oh, the humanity.
And that's all for an Xbox. The two Xboxes that Walmart had in stock at that price. So being stuck in the middle of the pandemonium.
Does it say was the pepper spray come from security or did people pepper spray themselves? Because I think both are very likely.
You know, see, Liz Macias over here. She was worried for the safety of herself and the kids. And, if you've ever shot pepper spray indoors, you just know it's a bad idea. So this woman trying to protect her children.
I haven't, but I also know it's a bad idea.
Trying to protect her children from this just ruckus crowd, she had unintentionally pepper sprayed 20 people.
Oh, God.
Because it's a steady stream, but there's also the mist, and then there's like the fallout of it. So she might have committed a felony.
Oh, God. Oh, wow.
So from ABC.
I haven't even thought of that.
From ABC. The victims' faces were red. Shopper John Lopez told ABC News Radio at the time. This one guy was coming up to my wife going, call an ambulance, call an ambulance. And I have a clip of it. I'm not going to play it now because we're doing this remotely. I should have sent it to you before. But it is about as chaotic as you would think. It's a sea of like 30 people in the electronics department of a Walmart just looking like the mosh pit of a fucking
Screaming
Lamb of God concert. And so here's what a police officer spokesperson said via CNN. We have her identity and we know who she is and where she is at. When appropriate, actions need to be taken. We know where to find her, said Officer Bruce Broahan. She's a suspect, but she's not being booked or anything, so we're not releasing her name. The next day, she turned herself in. And she clarified all of the circumstances, and I'm just going to read this, and then we can start chatting again about it. But this is from ABC. Elizabeth Macias, 32, said she fired the singing spray after shoppers attacked her two teenage children as they tried to obtain an Xbox game console for purchase. Their attorney, Michael Champ, the lawyer, said via CBS News LA. At one point, her son was on the ground being punched by a man, and her daughter was also being punched and kicked, says the lawyer.
I'm a fan of the name Michael Champ for a lawyer.
You'll never lose with the champ.
Yeah, I want to do marketing for him.
You know what? I may actually want to reach out to him. I need freelance clients, so that's a good idea. He said... So yeah, many aggregators wanted to say that the incident was a crazed shopper. They wanted to paint her as someone who is kind of out of control and caught up in the frenzy of it all. But here is what a detective said later. I'm not saying it was right. It could have been a situation that she was in fear for her safety, that she could have been crushed. So the reality versus what people were reporting on were completely different things. You know, like you have a mother of two caught in a wave of people that can only be described as, you know, the wall of death at Ozfest in 2009. And, you know, that same year, a lot of incidents also happened in South Carolina, North Carolina, Florida, of course, New York, Alabama, Connecticut. Whoop, whoop. And this all led Walmart spokesperson Greg Roseter to say, which, by the way, Greg Roseter, I'm going to do another episode on him. It's just a matter of getting the materials and getting the time, because this man is a professional shit eater. Like, his entire job is to just get in front of a microphone when stuff goes wrong and just be like, hey, I'm sorry.
I always hate people, shit eaters that are bad at their job, and so impressed by talented shit
This guy
eaters.
seems to be pretty good. The episode is going to be called The Ballad of Greg Rossiter, because like he's worked at Gap, he's worked at Walmart. I think he's worked at a few other pretty national companies. So he's been eating shit for like decades. I doubt there's people who can eat shit as well as this guy does. But here's his quote. He says, there were a few unfortunate incidents, but overall, we've received very positive feedback from our customers.
Yeah, he sounds like he's an excellent shit eater.
So
Those
and it kind of ruined the whole night. Like, I think Walmart probably lost. I mean, I'd like to say that Walmart lost revenue from this, but chances are they didn't. Like, yeah, maybe they lost sales from this first night, but chances are whatever they didn't sell, they were going to sell the next day or the day after. I mean, this is Black Friday. Like, it wasn't until very recently that only on Black Friday do stores completely run out of inventory.
Yeah. Can I back up and add a little bit more perspective from Liz's crazy actions?
Absolutely.
Because okay, and so maybe crazy is not the right word. I'm sure that she felt like her life was endangered and that her kids were in danger of being crushed. I'm sure of that. But I think we need to ask ourselves, you know, if Liz had taken her children to the running of the bulls, like, you know, like, is it still kosher to be pepper spraying everyone? Like, yeah, you're in a mosh pit. You knew what you were getting yourself into. Like, I think people need to sign a liability waiver before they do Black Friday shopping. I think that is where I've come out on this, because like, that's crazy. Like, don't bring your kids to a heavy metal concert. Just be reasonable.
Yeah. But I mean, but that's us in our 2020 thinking, right? Like, back in 2011, this was like 9 years ago. Like, we weren't expecting there like just to be complete like anarchy whenever like a fucking copy of Bad Boys 2 was out or whatever. Like, or whatever garbage was on sale. Like, thinking about what I'm using today.
Right, you're saying this is where this was.
Like, all the thing. Like, I just.
I hear you. This is what
I had to move across the country, so I'm very aware of the garbage that I need and that I don't need. So the idea of doing all of this just to buy more stuff that in the end will actually cost you money when you have to get it put in storage is just insane. Like, but you know, to your point, like, it's not like Walmart is, it's not like they're saying, hey, 40-inch TVs now available for $300. Get the fuck ready and bring a bulletproof vest.
Oh, yeah, why don't they? That would be such a great advertising campaign. Fucking saddle up. Don't have a bulletproof vest? Better get to Walmart before Black Friday or they'll be sold out.
You can bring a bat if you're a pussy.
I mean, like, have you listened to our president recently? Like, that's
Oh
America right
God,
now.
I wonder if stand your ground counts when people try and invade your 6 foot perimeter. Like someone just comes up to you coughing, does that count as self-defense? You're like, I'm pre-diabetic, man.
People have been arrested for like coughing on people. I wish I had paid more attention. There's so much news coming out right now that I can't
It's
remember anything that's happened in the
Yeah,
last two
it's all a
months.
blur. It's too much. Like I was driving down. I was driving in Vermont, and like where we live, it shares a border with Massachusetts. So depending on the stores you're going to, you're either going to go to southern Vermont, or you're going to go to northern western Massachusetts or whatever. And crossing from Massachusetts into Vermont, we got tailed by a state trooper for about 25 minutes. And I'm pretty sure they were just running our plates, trying to see what this California couple was doing. And it's all because, people are paranoid and they're on edge. Like it's terrible. It's terrifying. It's almost as if Black Friday is every day. There's nothing to buy.
Where are you boys going?
Yeah.
Canada almost made it.
I only wish.
I'm sorry, I can't help. I can't help but get it. You're talking about Vermont state troopers. I can't help but make Super Trooper references.
Jeez, I wish we had those state troopers. No, these ones were just like I don't know. The coming from Los Angeles and coming to a rural place and just seeing the difference between policing is very interesting. Right now, LA cops could not give a flying fuck about what most people are doing. They're trying to stop like murders. Like,
and you know what? I actually will go a step further. I'm not a fan of the LAPD, but I feel like in general, most LAPD officers are trying to stop people that are being stupid or committing real crimes. I feel like most of the time, if you're driving reasonable, or you know, man, I got let off smoking a joint on Hollywood Boulevard by
hell
a cop.
yeah.
I mean, it's because I'm white, if you couldn't tell. But like, I think in general, LAPD understands that they need to focus on the crazy shit. Well, and giving homeless a hard time. But beyond that, I feel like they do a decent job.
It was while we were being.
Can I ask a question? Sure. Completely off topic, but completely on topic. When you get pulled, have you been pulled over by a rural cop recently?
Not recent. The last rural cop I got pulled over was in Texas for speeding, even though I was trapped between two F-150s who were also speeding. And I couldn't pull. Yeah, I was trapped between three cars.
It's illegal to drive in Texas. It's illegal to be speeding in a car in Texas. It's a little Texas loophole. Listen, and I love and Texas is sort of like, I was born and raised in New Orleans. But we have a lot of friends and family in Texas, and when we were doing the pageant business, unsurprisingly, a lot of our business was in Texas. And I love Texas, and I have a lot of I love Texas in the same way that I love Louisiana. Like I love it even though it's all of its flaws, and I love to laugh at all of its flaws.
Exactly. It's that friend that you have that can't get their life together, but that's kind of why you love them too. Like, if they had their shit together, they wouldn't be any fun. They also wouldn't have any time for you. But because they're working on their year 4 of unemployment and just like can't seem to hold a job because they have a problem with authority, you're like, oh, this guy's a good time every few months. That's Texas.
That is spot on, Carlos Garcia.
Also, speaking of which, while we're on the subject, what is the overlap between the Texas child beauty pageant world and Tiger King?
Oh, I'm not sure there is any. Because most of Tiger King was like Oklahoma, I believe. And so like Oklahoma in general is like Texas's cousin.
Jesus.
So everything's worse in Oklahoma.
As well, something I'm seeing here is that actually now is not a bad time to be marketing. People are still buying. There's this weird thing going on where people who have jobs don't really understand how bad it is for the people who don't have jobs. It's like, like the companies are laying people off and furloughing people as we speak. Yet for some reason, I have a client who is still getting a 12x return on their ads, which means people are buying furniture and they're buying prints, they're buying things off of this website. And I'm just like, oh my God, there's so many fucking people in America that, like, yeah, 10 million people can go on, they can lose their job in 1 week. And that's not necessarily going to hurt a company if those people weren't their customers to begin with. And so people are actually pulling their money right now, which is causing there to be less competition on a lot of the platforms that you can buy media on. So the CPMs are going down. And if the CPMs go down, that means your cost per everything goes down. So the companies that are still managing to sell right now are actually, I mean, they may not be flourishing, but they're not seeing a dip at all because it's coming out at this weird equilibrium parity. But
Bloomberg could just spend another 500 million on ads. That'd fix it.
Jesus Christ, I can't believe I mean, it's because he was buying TV ads, right? TV is expensive. The fact that
it was Facebook. I mean, also TV. It was a lot of TV, but like, I know. I mean, I don't. We don't take out ads really at all. I mean, sometimes we'll like promote a post or something, but all of our people that do said that while Bloomberg's campaign was doing it, the price of ads on Facebook and Google just went skyrocketing.
That makes sense. Yeah, because like the CPMs for this one account in particular I'm thinking of went from, $10. Now they're down to like $6. So a lot of that could have been Bloomberg, but also it's, I think a pretty big ad agent. Oh, Omnicom, one of the big holding companies out in Los Angeles, that actually they employ a half a dozen of my very good friends in the marketing world. They just announced that there will be layoffs and there will be furloughs coming up. One account that a friend of mine he ran for a movie studio. And so that movie studio was scheduled to spend $5 million in the month of March. And all of that went away March 13th. They just said, shut off the ads, turn it off.
Yep.
And
I mean, that's what happened to our campaigns.
Oh, damn. They really? So like cash was already exchanged and everything. They were just like, no, cut it.
No. Once cash is and at best the way payments work for us is we get paid at best we get paid after posting. Most of what we do we get paid 30 or 60 days after we've posted, and that started because shiesty influencers would post, get paid, and then take their post down, and brands were like, what the. So yeah, no, we can't have. No one gets to have nice
and
things. So the stuff that we'd already done had gone through. But anything that was in the pipe, the only thing I have a DrinkWorks home bar by Keurig campaign, and that's the only thing that went through. And I'm like, I was sitting there being like, this cannot fall out. I was like, this is the one thing. This is the one campaign that is fucking perfect for this. This needs to stay, and thankfully it has.
As Governor Newsom has said, alcohol and weed is essential.
Essential, man.
Right before I left California, I was going to some dispensaries, and they were busy. They were respecting social distancing. They were, I had to wait an hour just to get into a grocery store just to find out that they didn't have any flour. Right, like that's how bad things were getting in Los Angeles. But you go into a dispensary.
The Trump red lines ain't nothing to mess with.
Nah, yeah. And luckily it got a little better. Like I did some, but like it kind of became a fun little like kind of mission, like, hey, this weekend I'm going to get these groceries, but I'm definitely not going to get them all at once, so I'm going to try and piecemeal my grocery list at about 7 different Ralph's, Vaughn's, and like Whole Foods. Like, I think I got my
And you said that was fun? What the fuck is
Oh,
wrong with you?
I love
You
surviving.
really are
I love
bored.
surviving, man. Surviving is like my jam. Like, I love being put in unwinnable situations. I just really get off on it.
You are gonna love Parenthood. Parenthood is for you. It is one big unwinnable situation.
Yeah. I mean, that's what being
I don't even know. I don't even know what we're doing here anymore.
Well, you did say something earlier that I'll get, and then we'll get back to Elizabeth Macias, because there's really not much more. Unfortunately, the trail goes dry. This is one of those stories where, it happened. It hit the news pretty hard. It was a good clickbait article, and then there was like zero fucking follow up afterwards because local news is dead. You know. But so I'll just go into it now.
I think you're gonna run into that a lot.
Oh yeah, sadly. But she threatened to sue Walmart, and I couldn't find any records that actually happened. She obviously got a lawyer, so there stands to reason that Walmart creating unsafe conditions is definitely something you can sue over, especially considering that they didn't have any security guards or any workers there to kind of keep the peace and keep everyone behaving well. That can definitely be something that can be threatened to Walmart. The problem is it's Walmart, so if you want to sue them, congratulations, you're going to be in litigation for 20 years. So all of that is to say that they probably just paid her to go away. They probably just gave her a pretty cush like deal of like, here's some free merch, here's some cash. Please don't make this any bigger than it needs to be.
Oh, man, that is a sweet fucking deal. If you get to pepper spray 20 people and you get a settlement, damn. Sign me up, Liz.
But Dave, that basically brings us to the end of this. Thanks for joining me. Did you have a good time? Did you learn a lot about Black Friday and this pepper spraying Batman, Elizabeth Macias?
Elizabeth Macias, I hope you hear this.
You know what's
Don't put your kids in harm. Don't put your kids in obvious harm way. I mean, I guess you're right. I am speaking from 2020, a 2020 perspective. But I feel like Black Friday has always been crazy. Like even when I was a kid.
I don't remember. I specifically remember 2009 and 2010 Black Friday, and just walking into a Best Buy thinking that I was going to be able to get some like DVDs and like rewritable DVDs. I was gonna just like burn everything that I had downloaded illegally off of Kazaa, and
DVDR.
DVDR, and I couldn't even find those. I showed up at 11 o'clock on the Friday, and everything was already gone. Like everything of value was gone. So I don't know. But it'll be interesting to see what we do this year. I think this will be the first social distancing Black Friday, and I'm excited to see how it all falls apart.
Yeah, I think but the only other thought is how customers spend about $700 per person on Black Friday. That number is really astounding to me because rich folk aren't lining up outside of Walmart at midnight, on Thursday to get in black. Melinda Gates isn't shopping so it is middle income and lower income people that are spending that much money on Black Friday, which I think is even crazier.
Yeah, no one's going, oh, thank God I have a day off from managing my hedge fund. I can go grab a sweet Vizio for the guest room.
Yeah.
Oh man. All right. Well,
I pretty much hate Black Friday. Too. This is a good choice.
Monday's way better. Giving Tuesday, even better. I've run ads for Giving Tuesday. It feels a lot better than running the other ones.
And what is it like? Local, what is it like? Shop local Wednesday. There's there's also like I think it's like I don't know. There's supposed to be like a shop local day as well. at some point near Black Friday.
It might be like the Saturday or Sunday is like a shop local weekend. But honestly, once we get over 3 like things in a row, like it just loses all of its actual meaning. It's like when you go on to when you go on your Google Calendar and it tells you that today is National Puppy Day, you're just like, no, it's not. It's not a holiday.
I need to turn those on my Google Calendar. All I've got is Arbor Day.
It's important. It's when the world all got together and just agreed on one thing once. Right? Or is that planting a tree day?
Trees.
I'm thinking of Armistice.
I think Arbor Day is planting a tree day. Yes. And I believe that is like I think there is like a specific, what is it? I think it's the Korean War that never technically ended, right? And so there's just there was no like peace treaty. It was like the Korean armistice. I can't speak.
Yeah, that's fine.
Next time you should consider having someone who can string together coherent sentences on your podcast.
Never. If I can't do it, then no one else will. This is just going to be a
Fantastic.
big mouth garble full of marbles kind of podcast going forward.
Have fun editing this nightmare, Charlie.
Will do. I will. Thank you, Dave Coe, for joining me this week, and we'll see everyone else next week, hopefully. I have nothing else to do but make these podcasts.
See you when we see you.
Probably.
I'll come back.
Looking forward to it. Yeah. Say hi to the family for me, and let's talk as friends, not recorded, very soon.